Hey guys, welcome back to There is Only Abundance, No Lack. If this wasn't clear already for you at this point, having learned about the origin story of infinity, creating free will and then creating all of creation, and the fact that everything happens all at once, and all that there ever exists is infinite, complete, parallel realities, and they're all accessible. They're never actually lost. They're never newly created, nor are they ever lost. They are all outside of time. They all timelessly, eternally exist. So all possibilities, all infinite possibilities, always simultaneously coexist and are accessible to your overall consciousness. If this itself is not enough to let you know that abundance is the very state of creation itself, that there is only abundance, that there is no lack, then this lesson hopefully will give you even more confirmation, even more angles to view existence from, that are in alignment with its natural law of abundance being all that there is. So, again, I ask you to be reminded of the idea of parallel realities. But now look at the fact that this implies infinite abundance. If each moment is a snapshot, is a single configuration of the universe, and you can shift your consciousness through different types of configurations of complete universes, and every snapshot is its own complete, timeless, frozen moment. That means that everything that ever can exist, does exist, already exists, and is ever present and ever available, all contained within the eternal now. The now of the I Am consciousness itself, the now of the Creator itself. This only moment that is ever experienced, now. All these realities, all possible realities that you or the free agent can ever conceive of, already exist. And they always will be accessible. So, you see, there is only abundance, there is no lack possible. Because lack would imply that something disappears. But if each complete reality is its own snapshot of eternity, and it exists outside of time, outside of the illusion of time that we generate by moving from one image to the next, to the next, to the next, therefore creating the subjective experience inside of ourselves of time, but the frames that we have perceived at any given second are themselves not experiencing time. They are timelessly rested, eternally present and available. We generate the experience, the illusion of time, by going from one complete timeless frame of existence to another complete and timeless frame of existence, to the next complete and timeless frame of existence, and so on and so forth. So you see, structurally speaking, time does not exist. This moment does not know time. This circumstance, this configuration of the universe does not experience itself in time. It does not experience itself as, oh, I am a snapshot that now appears out of nowhere and now disappears. We experience that things appear and disappear, but only because we move from left to right, so to speak. We move from this image to this image to this image. And as soon as we move to the next image, that means the previous image disappears from view, not from existence. There is a difference. Things lack from view, but not from existence. Does that make sense? Ponder this difference. Yes, every moment that we've experienced in what we call our past has disappeared from our personal view. But that does not mean it disappeared from being existent. It still exists, because it already existed before you moved your consciousness to that vibratory location, time, space frame. So you see, time does not structurally exist. Each frame does not experience itself in time. It experiences itself as frozen and timeless and complete presence of a particular expression of infinity. Boom! Every moment is a complete, perfect expression of infinity in a certain configuration of its own possibilities. Boom, 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 and it has infinite ones of these. And the free agent, or you, consciousness, you, awareness, are effortlessly moving through millions of these every second. Millions of different configurations, different of complete, timeless realities. Hence, creating the time experience inside of your view only. Outside of your view, time does not exist. It's a personalized, subjectively created illusion. It's irrelevant, it's a real experience, but it is an illusory creation. It is created. It is not an actuality. It is only existent as an experience, not as a structure of existence. So, lack implies that something can actually disappear from being existent. Now, we can generate the experience of moving on from one image to the next, and we do this all the time. Therefore, we can generate the experience of lacking something that we had before. But again, remember that within the overall consciousness, the thing you previously experienced and now choose to no longer perceive is still existent inside of your overall consciousness. You still have access to it, you can still connect to it using imagination, but we'll get into that later on in a different lesson, using the power of imagination. But just know that consciousness has access to any potential possible configuration of creation. So nothing is ever lacking. Nothing is ever missing. Right now, are you missing a baseball cap? Are you lacking a baseball cap, a green baseball cap? No. Yes, it's not inside of your view, unless by coincidence or synchronicity you're wearing a green baseball cap. But let's say that for most of you, that's not the case. Unless synchronization or synchronicity kicked into overdrive and somehow had all of you watching this video at this timing wear a green baseball cap, which is possible. It is possible because this is all a cosmic joke. But let's say that this is not the case. Yes, a green baseball cap may be lacking from view, but were you experiencing a lack of it? I bet not. You were not blocked from hearing what I was saying because you were so preoccupied with where your green baseball cap is. Correct? So assuming that this is correct, that your experience was not lack of a green baseball cap, it might have been lack of money, it might have been lack of something else that you made relevant for yourself in this moment, that you believed you should have had present in your view at this timing of creation being inside of your view. But the baseball cap is as absent as anything else that you worry about being absent, except you did not worry about the green baseball cap. Yet it was lacking. And along with the green baseball cap, there is 99.99999 times % of creation is not present inside of your conscious personal view at this timing. If lack was an actual experience that you needed to have if something was missing from view, that would mean you were absolutely devastated right now, all the time, because almost all of creation is lacking from view as we speak. In fact, at any given moment, you only ever view one parallel reality at a time. There might be millions in a single second, but at any given moment, you only ever experience one potential configuration of energy, each nanosecond. So, you only ever experience a single slice out of the infinite parallel realities that exist. Does that imply that you should experience the illusion of lack? That should be your felt, contracted experience? No, it does not mean that. And it does not feel good for the same reason that the emotional body will always let you know that your perspective is out of alignment with the way creation actually works, with the way that your higher self sees reality. So if it was true that your green baseball cap was actually lacking from existence right now and that it was relevant for you, you would actually feel really, really good about believing that that was lacking. Why? Because that would have been a true thought. It would have been a thought, a perspective, in alignment with the way your higher self sees things. But higher self does not see a green baseball cap lacking from your experience right now. It does not perceive money lacking from your experience right now. It does not perceive a lack of the ability to do what you want to do in this moment. It does not perceive that lack. So when you say that there is a lack of all these things, it will make you feel bad because you're stepping outside of your center of being. You're stepping away from the natural gravitational center of your alignment. Hence, you will feel the tug back towards the center of gravity of your alignment. And that tug is felt as suffering. So when we step away from our center of gravity too much, we feel the tug of being brought back by our higher guidance, by our non-physical mind, back into the center of our gravity. We will feel that tug, but we'll interpret it as suffering. And then we usually use that to apply that to a circumstance and say, well, see, I feel so bad, something must be actually missing. But the only thing that's missing when you feel bad is your alignment with the truth of your being. That's the only thing that can ever feel bad, is your misalignment with yourself. So once again, lack does not structurally exist. If it did, it would feel amazing to think about it. But it does not. It feels terrible. In fact, all forms of suffering can be traced back to holding on to some belief that lack exists right now, or that it can occur to you, or that it has occurred to you. Notice this, every time you suffer, you believe in lack in some form. It may be very disguised as something else, as something very real and logical. Yeah, but I want to do this, but I don't have the money to do this. So that's just a logical response to life. No, it's not. It's a chosen perspective that makes you feel either in or out of alignment, depending on how in or out of alignment your vibrational attitude and perspective of that moment actually is with your non-physical mind or your higher self's point of view of existence. So, you see, in a timeless creation filled with infinite parallel realities that are each a complete universe in and of themselves, and that nothing that can ever be conceived of is ever not created. Everything exists that you can think of. How could there be structural lack? There is no structural lack in existence. You are simply moving your consciousness from reality to reality, and sometimes you're not aware of certain things that you may desire to be aware of in that moment, that are wanted by you inside of your view. But they're simply not inside of your view right now, because that's not what's relevant for you. That's not what's part of your vibratory emanation in that moment. Your vibratory attitude is not in alignment with that creation, therefore you cannot perceive of that coexistent within the same now parallel reality that you otherwise could access if A, it was relevant for you to have that experience, and B, if you were of the appropriate vibrational attitude and perspective to be able to perceive that vibratory parallel reality within which the thing that you think is lacking now actually already does exist as a complete perfect reality, and it can never be created or gotten rid of because it's outside of time, as is each perfectly parallel universe configuration. All of them are outside of time, free of time. They all eternally exist. Everything that you can think of eternally exists, can never be gotten rid of. So you see, within the overall consciousness of your beingness, all these things that you may perceive are lacking from your personal consciousness view right now, from your I am this sense of self. In your overall I consciousness awareness, all these creations are available. And again, using the power of imagination, you can tap into the vibrational experience of these things, even when they're not relevant for you to be physically inside of your personal consciousness view right now. But you can always have access to them on a non-physical level. And by doing so, you actually increase the probability that it becomes relevant for you to have these experiences pop into your view once again, or things that you have never created as a personal experience before can now pop into view